Welcome. We are initiating ourselves for glimpsing Geeta Ganita Kshetra. In continuity of the previous session, today our initiation is about the interrelationship and coordination of Sankhya Yoga of chapter 2 of Ganita and Vyshti Smashti Ganita Sutra 11. This coordination can be imbibed, can be properly glimpsed, can be appreciated only if, first of all, we are properly exposed to the 10 folds of transcendental code values of basic 9 formulations. Chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga, is of the range of 72 shlokas, while Ganita Sutra 11, Vyshti Smashti, is a composition of 14 letters and is of TC value 58. 14 letters with 58 TC value as value 72 is going to be parallel with the 72 shlokas range of Sankhya Yoga, chapter 2 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Formulation Sankhya Yoga is of TC value 32, which is of organization 2 raised to power 5, that is 5th spatial dimensions availability within the creator's space. Formulation Vyashti Smashti is of TC value 58, which accepts an organization 29 plus 29, while value 29 is parallel with the TC value of formulation Brahma, the overlord of the creator space, the fourth space. As such, the interrelationship and coordination of the organization format features of Sankhya Yoga of chapter 2 of Gita and Vyashti Smashti mathematical domain of Ganita Sutra 11 are taking us to creators of space, which is of a spatial order space. Here, 2 space plays the role of a dimension. The dimensional frame of the creators of space is a setup of quadruple spatial dimensions of value 2 raised to power 4, while the 5th spatial dimension stands activized, stands in operation. Then the Sankhya Yoga and Vyashti Smashti stand coordinated. Vyashti means individualized and specific feature, while Smashti means universalized feature. How individual and the universe are of parallel mapping is the feature, is the format along which this coordination, interrelationship of the values of the Sankhya Yoga and of the Vyashti Smashti are to be comprehended, glimpsed, imbibed. For it, as such, today, as a proper step for entering this aspect, we have to visit 9 basic formulations. These 9 word formulations are Sankhya, Yoga, Vyashti, Smashti, Gyatri, Om, Pranava and Omkar. These 9 formulations are the basic foundational formulations. Each formulation is having 10 folds for its TCV value. Therefore, first of all, we have to expose ourselves to, we have to permit our mind to comprehend the features of these 10 folds of each of these 9 formulations. And once we will be properly exposed to these 10 folds of features of these 9 basic formulations, then we will be in a takeoff stage for being parallel with the organizational coordination of Sankhya Yoga and Vyshti Smashti mathematics of Ganita Sutras. Let me draw attention to these 10 folds of each of these 9 formulations. The first word formulation being taken up is Sankhya. This formulation is a composition of 6 letters, and it is a composition of 2 syllables. This single word formulation as a composition of 2 syllables and 6 letters is of TC value 20. The other 6 folds of this formulation lead us to the values as are tabulated in the screen 53.4.3, and these 6 folds means from fold 5th to 10th are of values 43, 140, 66, 64, 100 and 340. The grand summation value of all the 10 folds of formulation Sankhya take us to the value 842. 842. The value 842, 2 raised to power 1, 2 raised to power 2, 2 raised to power 3. This bliss of this composition is to be chewed, is to be imbibed. We will be coming to these aspects. Each and every fold is having its distinct value, and parallel with the value is the geometric format, and then follows the mathematical domain, format, and the processing steps. This formulation is the basic formulation as the Sankhya Yoga is having its designation in terms of this very formulation. The second formulation is the yoga. The formulation yoga is the formulation which is a setup of a pair of syllables and quadruple letters. TCV value of the formulation yoga is 7. TCV value of this formulation is 19. One word, 2 syllables, 4 letters, and 12 as the TC value make the total summation value for all these quadruple folds as 19. The following, the remaining 6 folds are of value 114, 92, 38, 40, 100, and 212, making grand summation value as 615. Sankhya formulation is having summation value for its 10 folds as 842. Yoga formulation is having summation value for its 10 folds at 615. Sankhya Yoga together is taking us to value 842 plus 615. Now, when we shall be glimpsing the mathematics of this discipline of yoga, then we shall be taking up each and every fold distinctively, as well as along with the remaining folds. These 10 folds of Sankhya formulation, as well as 10 folds of the yoga formulations, together make a very big mathematical domain. This mathematical domain is to be imbibed. And this is to be imbibed in reference to the Vyshti Smashti formulations of Ganita Sutra 11. Formulation Vyashti is having simple rendering as individual, as a part, as a localized domain, as comparison to Samashti, which has a simple rendering, means universal. So how part with the whole and individual with the universal, specific with the general, or the simple rendering for this composition Vyashti Samashti. However, when we will be approaching it in terms of their internal tenfolds, then we will be blissfully face to face with the wonderful mathematical domain of these formulations individually as well as collectively of the mathematical domain of Vyashti Samashti. Let me have a pause here and point it specifically as that today I am restricting myself only up till a reach for these tenfolds for each of the pointed 9 formulations. It will be a blissful exercise for each one of us that we shall reach at these tabulations of tenfold values of each of these 9 basic formulations. Once we will be successfully tabulating these values for these formulations for all tenfolds of each of these 9, that means once we will be taking these 90 steps, once we will be having a reach at the 90 steps values of tenfolds of these 9 basic formulations, then we will be having a proper exposure for our mind to have comprehension and to have a full insight, to have appropriate enlightenment about the mathematics of Sankhya Yoga as comparison to the Vyashti Samashti mathematical domain. How Sankhya Yoga and the Vyashti Samashti mathematics steps are running parallel to each other, how these two distinct domains as yoga discipline and as a mathematical processing steps stand coordinated is the bliss of this exercise. Each one of us shall start tabulating these inner folds for each of these 9 formulations. These are 90 steps. It is in 90 steps that we will be having a reach at these tabulations for these 9 formulations. Vyashti is the 4th formulation. We shall be reaching at the 10-folds formulation for Sankhya, then for Yoga, then we will be having a comparative comprehension of the parallel folds of this pair of formulations. Likewise, a step ahead, we will be reaching at 10 folds for Vyashti and Samashti, and then we will be having a comparative comprehension, and we will be exposing ourselves to glimpse, imbibe, comprehend the comparative features of 10 folds of each of this pair of formulation, Vyashti and Samashti. Once we will be having comparative exposure for 10 folds of Sankhya with Yoga, and on the other hand, of 10 folds of Vyashti with Samashti, then this pairs This pair of paired formulations are to be repaired fold-wise. It in itself is going to be a very blissful exercise. Once we will be through this blissful exercise of first pairing Sankhya with Yoga, then having a pairing for Vyashti with the Samishti, and ultimately having paired pairing for Sankhya Yoga and Vyashti Samishti. For it, we have to be through the basic comparative formatting feature of the Vedic system. It is the formulation Gayatri, Om, as of its four folds, Om, Om, Pranava and Omkar. Therefore, sadhakas fulfilled with the intensity of urge to have a proper initiation for Geeta, Ganita Kshetra shall take it a blissful exercise, and one shall reach at 10 folds for Sankhya as well as for Yoga, and then to have a comparative exposure fold wise for this pair of formulations, namely Sankhya and Yoga. At the next step, one shall have the blissful exercise of reaching at 10 folds for the formulation Vyashti as well as for the formulation Samishti, and then to have a complete comparative fold-wise exposure for the formulation Vyashti and Samishti. Once we have a proper exposure for Sankhya and Yoga as one pair, Vyashti and Samishti as another pair, then we have to pair this paired formulations organization. And for it, we have to take help of the foundational formatting steps of the Vedic systems. Gayatri, Om, Om, Pranava, and Omkar are the five basic formatting setups. These five folds be glimpsed fold-wise, and these 50 folds of these five formulations will take us to the coordination of creative boundary of 10 components of the transcendental domain. A raised to power 5 is to 10, B raised to power 4 is the domain boundary formulation for hypercube 5. The creative boundary is coordinated within creators the space in terms of 10 into 4 is equal to 40 coordinates. These 40 coordinates are the 40 folds of Sankhya, Yoga, Vyashti and Samishti. Then 10 is to 5 is 50, or the transcendental coordination of the creative boundary of the transcendental domain. Therefore, this transcendental coordination of the 10 creative components as 50 coordinates, and creative coordination of 10 creative components as 40 coordinates are to be reformatted, are to be unified. It is this unification of the 40 creative coordinates of the creative boundary of 10 components of transcendental domain with 50 transcendental coordinates of the creative boundary are taking us to the fruit of the Sankhya Yoga of the order of Sthir Buddhi. Sankhya Yoga end fruit value reach is Sthir Buddhi, Sthir Pragya. The formulation Sthir is of TC value 14 and formulation Pragya is of TC value 18. Value 14 is the summation value of 4 folds of hypercube 4. Value 18 is the summation value of 4 folds of hypercube 5. Once we will be in a blissful mental state of having full comprehension, appropriate enlightenment of the unified state as sthir pragya, as of five space transcendental origin within four space domain, then we will be in a sthir pragya state. The question of Arjuna in Shloka 54 is as to what are the external attributes of behavior, conduct of one who is of sthir buddhi, and its enlightenment is 18 shlokas prescript of Shri Bhagavan from shloka 55 to 72. We shall be exposing ourselves to this knowledge and enlightenment of Sankhya Yoga only after we shall be having proper exposure to 10 folds of these 9 basic formulations. Thank you very much.